You are not here by accident. Something inside you recognized this moment before your mind did. Listen, God is speaking to you now, and his voice moves with authority over every place money has ever held you captive. For too long, wealth has come and gone like the tide. Brief relief, then retreat. That pattern is not merely circumstance. It is a stronghold. I am breaking it. Feel the gentle pressure of a change already beginning. You may notice a resistance, a quiet doubt, a thought that says you are not ready, not worthy, or that the old ways are safer. That resistance is normal. It is the sound of chains loosening and the enemy's last attempt to keep you bound. Do not turn away. Stay. Receive. This word opens doors that have been barred by limiting beliefs, ancestral patterns passed down without your consent, fears born in seasons of lack, and choices you made when survival felt like the only option. Those things held authority over your finances because you gave them authority in the dark. Today that authority is revoked. Imagine a life without the constant weight of worry, clarity in decisions, steady provision, calm in the face of uncertainty. Imagine stewardship replacing scarcity, a renewed mindset that sees resources as tools for purpose, not proofs of worth. You are invited into more than temporary relief. This is a reordering of the spiritual landscape around your finances. It is slow, deep, and irreversible when you receive it with faith. Do not rationalize. Do not delay. The liberation has already begun. Your part is to open your heart and stand firm as the work completes itself. Now, reflect for a moment. What is the one habitual thought about money you feel ready to release? Leave that in the comments. Your honesty may unlock freedom for someone else. Stay with this, and come to the next video where we will dismantle specific strongholds and step into practical territory for lasting provision. You did not come to this moment by accident. There was a quiet stirring inside you, a recognition that these words would find you when you needed them most. God is speaking directly to that place where fear and lack have nested, and he is declaring freedom over your finances. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is a pronouncement that the pattern of money arriving and vanishing is no longer your portion. Listen slowly. The enemy of provision works through invisible walls, limiting beliefs whispered from childhood, ancestral habits that repeat without question, decisions made in seasons of scarcity that have become your default. These are strongholds, but they are not immovable. God's voice carries authority to dismantle them, to trace every chain back to its source and break it. When a chain begins to loosen, you will feel a tug of resistance, a quiet doubt trying to pull you back into old rhythms. Do not be surprised. Stay, breathe, let faith steady you. Open your heart to receive. Imagine the light of understanding flooding the dark corners where worry hides. Picture making choices from clarity instead of fear, stewarding what you have with wisdom, receiving provision with gratitude rather than anxiety. This is not a fantasy. It is a shift in your spiritual atmosphere. The liberation has already started. Small changes will follow, clearer decisions, steadier peace, opportunities that align with God's new narrative for you. Do not rationalize this away. Do not allow familiar doubts to delay what is unfolding. If you are tempted to explain it, choose instead to receive it. Respond with surrender, not scrutiny. As you align your thoughts and actions with this word, expect the unseen to become visible. Your mindset will change first, and then your circumstances will follow. Curiosity. What might one unlocked door look like in your life? Reflective comment. Share in the comments one belief about money you are ready to release, simple and honest. Next video. Join me in the next video where we begin to practicalize this release. Steps God uses to rewire decisions and open new channels of provision. You feel it. A still, steady nudge in the place where worry has lived for years. This message is not for curiosity alone. It landed where the quiet ache of scarcity has made a home. Hear this plainly. God is speaking to dismantle the financial cages you've accepted as normal. He is naming the unseen walls, ancestral patterns that repeated from generation to generation, decisions born of fear during seasons of lack, and the small, persistent thoughts that say there will never be enough. Slowly, imagine those walls like stones loosened by an unseen hand. Each limiting belief you confess becomes a gap. Each honest, trembling step you take toward truth widens it further. there will be resistance. A whisper of doubt will try to convince you this is too good to be true, that relief is temporary. That whisper is expected when chains begin to fall. Stay with the discomfort. Let the discomfort be the doorway, not the exit. See provision not as a sudden windfall, but as steady, faithful increase. Clarity that informs your choices, peace that steadies your nights, capacity to steward what you receive with wisdom. This is not a promise of reckless gain. It is a declaration of transformation. You are being trained to think differently about money, not as a scarce thing to protect, but as a resource to manage, multiply, and bless. Let the authority of this word press into the crevices of your life. Allow old patterns to be named and released. You will not have to force the change. You are invited to cooperate with what God has already begun. Refuse to rationalize retreat. Do not delay in receiving what is being given. Curious about how this begins to look practically in your everyday life? Pause and reflect. What one fear about money are you willing to name today? Comment with that one fear or with a single step you feel led to take. Then stay tuned. In the next video, we will move from breaking chains to building a new rhythm of provision and stewardship. You have come here because something inside you recognized this voice before your mind could. Now, as you slow down and open, God begins to name the unseen things that have kept you small, the whispered vows of scarcity passed down through generations, the anxious decisions made in seasons of fear, the quiet agreements you made with lack that felt safer than the unknown. Feel each name spoken aloud, not to shame you, but to unbind you. There is a gentle but authoritative unfastening happening right now. As you breathe, imagine those invisible chains, the thoughts that say, "It's not for me," the guilt around desire, the frantic trying that never seems enough, loosening one by one. This is not magic or a quick fix. It is a spiritual dismantling led by a loving God who refuses to allow bondage to thrive in your life any longer. You may notice a tug of doubt, a learned habit trying to pull you back into rehearsed scarcity. That tug is expected. Do not follow it. Stay. Receive. God invites you into a new posture, not reckless, but wise, not fearful, but faithful. See yourself stewarding well what is entrusted to you: time, talent, finances, with clarity and calm. Picture steady provision that does not demand frantic control, a peace that escorts each decision. These are not distant possibilities. The first cracks are already forming in the wall around you. Your part is to believe enough to step forward, to let go of old narratives, and to say yes to the renewal God is offering. Pause now and listen for the quiet next step God places in your heart. Curiosity will lead you deeper. Share below one thought that rose up as you heard this. What old money story are you ready to release? Your comment may encourage someone else to stay. In the next video, we will explore practical ways to walk this freedom daily. Simple spiritual disciplines and choices that anchor the breakthrough God is sending. Stay with it. Block 5 of 9. You are standing at the threshold of a change that feels both gentle and inevitable. Breathe slowly. Feel the quiet space inside you where fear used to live. It is growing room for something new. God is not speaking from a distance. He is speaking into the very place where your finances meet your faith. He points to the small decisions, the hidden agreements, the tired beliefs you accepted in seasons of scarcity, and says, those are ready to be unmade. Listen closely. A chain can be strong, and yet every chain has a link that will yield. The word you receive now is aimed at that link, a single belief that has kept abundance at bay. It might be the conviction that you do not deserve more, the fear of risk after loss, or the quiet shame of unmet expectations. Whatever it is, name it inwardly. As you name it, light finds it. Light loosens it. You do not need to force the break. You need only to consent to the truth that God is rewriting your story. See yourself walking into a room where provision waits, not because you forced it, but because stewardship and faith aligned. Picture clarity replacing confusion, steady rather than sporadic supply. This is not a promise of instant fireworks, but a steady rearrangement. Habits shift, opportunities open, and your heart learns to steward with wisdom and courage. Where anxiety once whispered, peace now teaches. You may feel a subtle resistance, a thought that questions whether this is possible. Welcome that thought, but do not yield to it. Stay, receive. Speak out a single, simple affirmation. I am open to what God is doing for my finances. Repeat it slowly, with faith, and let it settle. Curious to explore which belief needs to be broken next? Comment one honest sentence about what held you back, and I will read it. Then watch the next video. There you will receive a focused prayer and practical steps to begin dismantling that stronghold. You can feel it now, a gentle unraveling that began before you even named it. This is not a promise made in haste. It is a declaration that speaks to a deeper order. God's voice finds the place inside you where scarcity once settled and, with sovereign tenderness, begins to remove what kept you small. Limiting beliefs that sounded like truth fall away. Ancestral patterns that repeated in quiet, steady ways lose their power. Old fears and choices born from seasons of lack are being unstitched, thread by thread. When resistance rises, that familiar whisper of doubt, the urge to explain it away, hear it for what it is, the last gasp of a structure that is breaking. Do not follow the impulse to retreat. Stay with the feeling of loosening. Breathe into it. Open your hands and open your heart. As you do, faith does not have to be loud. It simply needs to be willing. Your willingness is the invitation for divine rearrangement. Imagine a life where money moves without the constant weight of worry. Picture clarity that replaces confusion, steady provision replacing frantic scarcity, peace that stays in the room even when bills come due. See yourself becoming a wise steward, making choices from abundance rather than scarcity. This is not wishful thinking. It is the new landscape being prepared for you right now. You are not expected to understand every step. You are asked only to receive. Allow the shift to continue inside you. Watch for the subtle changes. Doors opening where once there were walls. Thoughts of possibility replacing habitual limitation. Relationships aligning with purpose. The liberation has already started. Your role is to keep breathing and to trust the unfolding. Curiosity. What question about your financial life is tugging at your spirit right now? Share a reflective comment below, one sentence about the fear or hope you carry. Stay with us for the next video. There is another word coming that will name the next layer of your freedom. You are not here by accident. Before words formed in your mind, something deeper, an inner knowing, leaned in and recognized this moment. Listen slowly. God is speaking to you to break every financial captivity that has held your life in a loop. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is a divine decree that the cycle ends. Feel that truth settle in the chest, like air returning after a long, stifled breath. There are invisible walls around your provision, limiting beliefs whispered through generations, decisions made in seasons of scarcity, fears that became habits. These are not your identity. They are patterns, spiritual chains that began to tighten when survival made you accept less than God intended. Now, as you open your heart with faith, the grip loosens. Resistance may rise, doubt, a familiar voice that tries to pull you back into safety. That resistance is normal. It is the sound of chains starting to rattle. Receive this. The liberation has already been spoken. Imagine waking without the constant, low-grade anxiety about money. See clarity replacing confusion, consistent provision replacing unpredictable relief, steady peace where there was once a knot of dread. This is not wishful thinking. It is a reorientation of your mind toward abundance and wise stewardship. You are invited to a renewed mindset, one that honors resources, makes courageous choices, and trusts the promise that supply will meet the appointed need. Do not let your mind rationalize this moment away. Do not delay your open-handed acceptance. Stay here a little longer. Breathe. Allow God's authority over these strongholds to work in you now. As you receive, subtle shifts will occur, habits will change, opportunities will surface, and old fears will lose their power. Curiosity. Which small, persistent fear about money do you sense is ready to fall? Comment below with one honest line about what you are willing to release. Then watch the next video. There God begins to reveal practical steps that align your choices with this new freedom. You are not here by accident. Listen slowly. There is a voice now that says your season of financial bondage is breaking. For too long, money has been a tide that lifts you briefly and then recedes, leaving you to rebuild hope on shifting sand. This is not merely a timing problem. It is a spiritual stronghold, made of old fears, ancestral habits, limiting thoughts and decisions formed in seasons of scarcity, and it is being dismantled. Feel the authority behind this word. It does not rush or shout. It arrives with a quiet, sovereign conviction that moves mountains from within. You may notice a subtle resistance, a small whisper of doubt trying to pull you back into familiar worry. That resistance is normal. It means the chains are loosening. Stay, breathe, receive. As you open your heart, even a little, the pressure eases and clarity begins to come like morning light through a dark room. Imagine a life where money no longer defines your peace. See yourself making choices from rest, not from fear. Picture steady provision, clear steps, and a calm stewardship that honors what you have while aligning you with what is coming. This word is inviting you into a renewed mindset, one of abundance that is practical, humble, and brave enough to steward increase well. Do not rationalize away what you feel. Do not delay the act of faith that releases what is already in motion. Liberation has begun. Its beginnings may be small, but they are sacred, and they will grow. Receive this now, with gratitude and a willingness to walk forward. Curiosity: what single image, word, or feeling rose in your heart as you listen to this? Reflective comment: write one limiting belief or fear you are ready to release, short and honest. Next video, come back to name a first, practical step you feel led to take. We will pray and make that step together. You have arrived at a place where word meets wound, and something inside you answers. Breathe slowly. Feel the weight you've carried for years loosened by the inch. God has spoken a clear sentence over your finances. The cycle that kept income fleeting, hope temporary, and fear familiar. That cycle ends now. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is a divine directive that moves through the unseen to shift what felt immovable. Notice the subtle resistance that tries to pull you back into old thinking. It is normal. When chains begin to break, discomfort rises. Stay with it. Do not quicken. Let your heart align with the truth offered to you in this moment. Receive the permission to believe differently. Receive the courage to choose differently. Receive the clarity to steward what is released to you. Imagine a day when money is a servant to your purpose, not an enemy of your peace. Picture steady provision, clear decisions, and the calm that comes with spiritual freedom. See ancestral patterns dissolving. Hear your own voice becoming brave enough to say no to scarcity and yes to wise risk. Feel the lift of old fear as new responsibility anchors you. This liberation is already underway. It may show up as a new opportunity, a changed mindset, a conversation that opens a door, or simply as a sudden, unshakable peace. Whatever the first sign, recognize it and move with it. Do not rationalize away what is spiritual. Do not delay the small steps that honor what you've received. Curious about how this unfolds practically in your life? Lean in. What is one belief about money you are ready to release? Share it below. Your comment could be the first honest step toward transformation, for you and for someone listening who needs the same courage. When you're ready for the next word, tap to the next video. There you will receive a practical step that aligns with this promise. Stay, receive. Walk into what God is already doing for you.